I once photographed this amazing school in Ethiopia. It was back in the days of film, and we drove from Addis Ababa 5 hours to the end of the road, hiked for another 5 deep into the Meta Robi Valley, way off the tourist track. You have to be really tough to live in this place. Then on the return journey, long dirt roads, bustling towns, and then the long shadow of the tarp covering our bags that should have been roped down, flapping in the wind, and the sudden realization, where's my bag? I had the driver stop. I still can't quite believe it. Even now, my bag with 60 rolls of film had fallen off the truck. A 10-day assignment. It was such an incredible experience. So many stories of these incredible people. We were photographing education programs that were charting the way out of poverty. I told myself, don't panic before it happens. We turned around, retraced our steps, but the bag was gone. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, taking stock. Should I go back into the valley? What chance did I have to regain all that was lost? But there came a point where I had to stop looking at the problem. I was surrounded by people who knew how to get back up, and it was now my turn. I still had my camera, 13 rolls of film, 2 days to go back. I made the decision. That's where it always begins. I would hike back into the valley without the team, without an armed guard, but with fresh eyes. That night, I counted frames for how many shots I could take with 13 rolls of film. I figured I had 12 to photograph the school where Hannah and her brother Abraham were dreaming of one day becoming a teacher, a doctor. 7 frames to photograph a family who were so poor they had their children work the fields, even though the school was free. Teachers donating time, everyone working together. As a father, I can only imagine how hard their life had become. At the time, the family were living on maybe 25 cents a day. It's not the first time I've been to Ethiopia. Not everyone makes it. Daegu had been lying on the ground on a mat for 2 weeks. It was a famine, another famine, and the food was gone. To make the picture, I placed my camera on a low wooden stool close to the ground, and I knelt in the dirt. And from there, I understood. As I left, the partner pulled me to one side and said, "Jim, the people have been watching you, and they want to say thank you for suffering with us." My immediate reaction was to write it off. But that statement has helped me stay the course. 70 assignments all over the world. A global perspective that allows us to see from multiple vantage points. And that's what we need to truly understand our place in the world. As a photography coach, one of my first tips is to see what you're not looking at and to look into the 4 corners of the frame. It's a pretty good tip. It's so simple, but it helps us to see everything. Our eyes are not designed for this. Direct vision, our sharpest focus, represents just 3 degrees of what we see. We have great peripheral vision, up to 100 degrees, where we can detect movement, but we move our eyes to see sharp focus. Right now, I suspect most of you are looking straight at me, but it takes eye movement to see the 4 corners of the room. For the photographer, it's the same. We move our eyes to see the 4 corners of the frame, and it goes beyond what we see with our eyes. The photographer, Yusuf Karsh, put it like this. He said, "The heart and mind are the true lens of the camera." To see what you're not looking at begins with asking questions, an internal dialogue that I answer with my camera. I ask myself, what is life like for the children? And take pictures to illustrate the answer. What is the measure of success? What is the one thing that dominates in the lives of these people? For those in much of Africa, it might be the fact that water is 3 miles walk from where you live. For those who live in a war zone, it might be the fact that nowhere is safe. And where there is strict control of ideas, that there is limited access to education, art, music. On assignment, to see what you're not looking at demands that you see both the problem and the solution. Photograph both. In 2019, I photographed the Afghanistan National Institute of Music in Kabul, just 3 years before the Taliban regained control. In a country starved of music, the school was the answer. Bustling with creative energy, it had been called the happiest place in Afghanistan. And what was unheard of for Afghanistan, 30% of their students were young women. I asked one student, why is music so important? She said, the people hear the music and remember who they are. I returned to Ethiopia 18 months after my film was lost, to a different community, although I did get to see some of the kids again. And once again, the people were working together. Actually, I saw Hannah and Abraham still wearing the same shirt. Once again, the people were working together, hundreds building terraces to protect from land erosion. Old men, children, parents, pickaxes, breaking new ground. They were also told it's not possible to have a school because there was no road. And so, in less than a year, by hand, they built their own road. 28 kilometers. Because for those trapped in poverty, to find a way and see beyond the problem is a rule for life. And it's only when we see with heart and mind that we truly understand. At a time when the world is split, seemingly divided at every level, we need this kind of heart, mind, insight, empathy more than ever. The ability to get down in the dirt and see things as they truly are. It's what makes photographers the real truth tellers of our time. It's what makes photography such a powerful tool for change, to help us to recalibrate our moral compass, understand better our place in the world. But for the photographer to see what you're not looking at requires one more step. We need to look inward, into our own soul, because the answer to the next question can only be found there. It's true for all of us. What body of work will you create with your life? We all need the good that you can bring. And if photography is something you love, the images that are yet to come. Next time you're taking a picture, look into the four corners of the frame and beyond the frame, because to see like a photographer goes beyond what you see with your eyes. It's about what you see with your heart and mind. That is what it takes to truly understand another's point of view. And what better inspiration than to see those who time and again get back up and work together for the good of all. Thank you.